No nosso quadro Extraordinários, eu encontrei a cientista da computação Joy Buolamwini, que foi pioneira ao expor o viés de preconceito, cheio de vícios e limitações, em serviços de reconhecimento facial das grandes empresas de tecnologia do mundo. E partindo disso, foi muito além. A Joy tem 36 anos, é fundadora da Liga da Justiça Algorítmica, que une arte e ciência para defender uma tecnologia mais próxima da realidade e tentar conscientizar o público sobre os riscos de uma inteligência artificial que não enxerga a todos. Ela tem doutorado pelo MIT e pela Universidade de Oxford. Fez parte da lista dos maiores líderes mundiais da revista Partindo e foi descrita como a consciência da revolução da inteligência artificial. Joy, you call yourself a poet of code.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful, but what you have been discovering as a poet of code, is that nice?
Part of why I chose to call myself poet of code alongside, having my PhD from MIT and so forth, is to talk about the importance of truth tellers. And that's what poets are, and they tell the truth in a way that resonates with our emotions. And I thought it was so important to connect that to technology and to artificial intelligence, because we see that AI systems have so much promise of what they can be. And as a technologist, as somebody with a computer science background, as someone who codes, I love that promise. But that promise and the reality isn't always the same. It's oftentimes not always the same for people who look like you and me, for women, for people who are marginalized in different kinds of ways, people who have disabilities, right? And so being a poet of code is being that truth teller and saying this technology that we love doesn't always love us back. But it doesn't have to be that way, and there's actually something we can do about it.
This combination of poetry and science, do you believe that this combination makes people feel more connected with you, more open to hear what you want to say?
I've seen it, because even when I'm presenting my research, when I start with poetry, when I say something like, "Can machines ever see my queens as I view them? Can machines ever see our grandmothers as we knew them?" It opens the space in a different kind of way, and it invites people from many different backgrounds, because maybe you have a technical background, maybe you don't, but you have a mother. So the poem that I'm even telling lines about, it's actually also a test of AI systems. So I'm showing faces of very famous Black women like Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, and I'm showing companies like IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, analyzing their names and misgendering them. So all of the lines that you hear in the poetry are actually an algorithmic audit or a test of AI systems. So both things are happening at the same time. And it's those tests that show us the limitations of the technology. And then we're like, this could be dangerous, so we can change it before it harms people.
What are the harms of facial recognition in this universe of AI that we are crossing all the time, sometimes not being aware of what's really going on?
Yeah, so facial recognition is where my research started, and specifically looking at gender classification, which is how a machine might guess the gender of your face. And what was important about that research was we were showing some of the biggest tech companies in the world. These companies that are meant to be the most sophisticated in the world when it comes to technology, actually failing with an AI task, because the way these systems were being developed was based on data sets, and these data sets usually didn't include faces like mine.
No meio da multidão estava a auxiliar administrativa Taislaine, que foi identificada pelo reconhecimento facial como foragida da justiça.
Humilhada, constrangida, o que eu passei, eu não desejo para ninguém.
But do you believe that the societies are aware about the social impacts that AI has already, including make some kinds of prejudice, historical prejudice, keeping them working, around us?
I think there could be more awareness. Was recently at the Vatican, had an opportunity to meet the new Pope, and there was a conversation about AI and the dignity of children, because now you have AI systems that can reproduce images, deep fakes, and they can be very explicit, right, and very harmful.
I don't know if you know, but Joy was the founder of Algorithmic Justice League. I love this name.
Oh, we have real powers. Our powers are very human. They're research powers, they're storytelling powers. But really the idea of the Algorithmic Justice League was to have an organization that was actually focused on safeguarding our humanity. And so our mission is really to make sure that AI delivers its promise and doesn't harm those who've been marginalized. So we call the marginalized the X-coded, whether you've been exploited, condemned, convicted because of an AI system, right? Or maybe you've had a deep fake made of you. I had the opportunity to meet Megan Garcia, and her 14-year-old son unfortunately took his life after interactions with a chatbot that had encouraged him to do so. So there's so many ways you can be X-coded or harmed by AI or have family members impacted by it, for sure. And so for me, I wanted there to be an organization that was saying that, oh, these topics matter. And so that's why I started the Algorithmic Justice League.
And how do you get into here?
So my journey started because when I was a student at MIT, I was working on an art project that was supposed to detect my face, but it didn't detect my face until I literally put on this white vest. And so I think it's so important to say, what can I do in the fight for algorithmic justice? Share with us what you're seeing with AI.
Did you have the chance already to share your discoveries with the big bosses of the Silicon Valley, for example?
Yeah, so actually all of the US-based companies that I tested when I was a graduate student at MIT, so think IBM, think Microsoft, think Amazon, I presented the research to them once it was published, and eventually they all stopped selling harmful facial recognition to law enforcement.
What do you want to do? What do you want to reach? What do you dream?
And so my dream is to continue to be an artist and to inspire other people to embrace whatever it is that you feel deeply about that society might say, oh, that's not what you should do, and to maybe look at me as an example and say, here's somebody who decided to follow what it is they truly believed in, even in the face of opposition.
I don't know if you know, but you are extraordinary.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So nice. Muito legal.